Hi, I'm Stephanie Ewell, and it's my pleasure to be with you on our journey towards better health. Our stories today include coping with the loss of a child and how it affects the family. We'll learn a healthy replacement recipe everyone will love, and some great ideas on how to nurture a happy family. Stay with us for these stories and more on Be Well Spanish Fork. Our first story is of a tragedy that no parent should have to endure. A happy, active family suffers the loss of a young son and brother. This is what happened to Colton Sampson. Let's see how they've learned to turn sorrow into strength.
Yeah, we lost our son actually just on the corner of where we live. Our neighbor accidentally backed over him, and so that kind of rocked our world, which is obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'd say it's still pretty fresh, and I think we're still much in the recovery process.
We're still trying to find our new normal, which we don't want to do.
Which I don't think anything's normal anymore. After something like that, I think it really changes the way it changes your perspective. Mm-hmm. And you'll never really look at things the same after something like this. And it doesn't mean you have to go through something like this to learn from it. We hope people can learn from what we're going through, and it will strengthen them in their life and whatever they're going through.
Do you guys talk about him a lot as far as the emotional side of wellness? Like, how do you guys remember him?
I think a key part is we keep doing the things that were working before this happened. We still try to spend that special family time together each week, and we've had to kind of learn. I mean, he was our crazy wild man. Like, he was just the perfect age for chaos. Yeah. A week from being 3 years old. He just loved every experience he had was new for him and exciting. And he played such a big role in our other kids' lives as well. He kind of in a really strange way, he was kind of the one that unified CJ and Chance, our other two boys, because they have this competitive nature. And then Levi, he's so young still. He kind of just brought everybody together, and he's always looked out for his little sister. And Sky was just learning to babysit him and all that stuff. And so I think with everything, we've just tried to stick with what was working, and then also be willing to adapt to the new situation.
We've kept everything open. We say, you can say anything. You can say anything to us about Levi, about how you're feeling. We don't shun any question. We've had some interesting ones from our 5-year-old, and I feel like you just got to be ready for it and have an answer for them. And even if you don't have an answer, just try the best you can. And that's been huge for us, is just an open communication through our whole family.
Have you had any personal experiences of people reaching back out to you and sharing about how you guys have blessed their lives by being open and sharing that?
We have. We've had really personal things people have come up and said, and that a part of that is healing for us as well. Like, our son didn't die in vain. This is helping people, probably people we don't even know as well, and so. That for me helps me heal when people do reach out to me and say, hey, I loved that you guys did this, and I love what we've learned from this experience, and that's been really good for my healing.
Yeah, and I think with just trying to do the best we can, it's doing the little things, and we've had so much good given to us. I mean, the day it happened just overwhelmed our table, our countertops, our whole kitchen.
We're barely getting through the food everybody
brought. It was just chock full of food, and just so much care and love from everybody.
Community, we can't say enough good about the community.
It's been phenomenal.
Been incredible.
To see everybody
overwhelming.
Just live. I mean, they bore us up, when we didn't have strength to stand. They really helped us get through it.
It's been incredible.
And I know you guys have Do Good, Live for Levi, right? Can you tell us a little bit about where that came from and how you guys established that?
We were actually picking out flowers, which, you know, we came straight from the funeral home and went straight over to Carrie's Floral. Give her a shout out, I guess.
Yeah, she was amazing.
She was amazing. She said, "What do you want on Levi's flowers?" And it just came to me, and I said, "Live for Levi." He was full go from the time he was born. And he lived the life of a 30-year-old man. He really did.
He was fearless.
After looking back through all the pictures, after everything happened, and man, he lived so much life. And I'm glad we let him do that. You know, I could never hold him back. I mean, he was going to do it regardless if I let him or not. He found a way. There's a purpose. I feel like there was a purpose or a plan behind it. And that's, we feel like this is kind of our purpose now, is to raise awareness that, hey, you can be okay and you can still do good in the face of adversity, and
that's been our motto.
You can move on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Never forget, but move on.
Talk to me about the amazing fundraiser you guys did.
We just kind of got the idea the morning of the funeral. The parade was the next day, the 24th of July parade, or the Fiesta Days parade. And usually I do that for our business, and this year I wasn't going to do it just with everything that had happened. And so one of my really good friends, Brendan Holmes, he actually works with me as well. He made these T-shirts and then got all these flyers printed, and then we just came up with the idea, hey, we're going to do a fundraiser. Anybody wants to order a shirt, all the proceeds will go to Primary Children's Hospital. So.
Yeah, so we made the goal. Well, Colt did. He said it, and I thought he was nuts.
Oh, I said $10,000 for every year he was, so $30,000 was our goal.
By his third birthday, which was the following Friday.
Yeah, a week away. I don't know why I said it, but it worked out. So.
And he announced it at the funeral, so it was kind of set in stone. I was like, okay, we're doing this, I guess, you know? So we did it. It was incredible. Like I said, this community has been amazing and just pulled together, and we actually ended up raising over $36,000.
So I guess kind of a final question I have for you is, if you knew one of us were watching right now, what are the kind of top 3 things that you could recommend or suggest for people to incorporate in their lives to have more wellness, so even when tragedies happen, that it will be an easier experience for them?
I think being so active. I think that helps your mind, everything. I feel like that is all encompassing. When you're active, I feel like it helps you get your mind right, for sure. What do you think?
Yeah. I would say don't lose faith in yourself and your family and those you love. And God, you know, if you believe in God, it can really help in those tough times. And I would say that would be, being active. Don't let yourself, don't lock everybody out. Just be active. Do what you can do.
I was gonna say, look out.
Have faith. Yeah.
And look outside of yourself.
Have
See
faith.
who you can help.
And do good.
See who else you can help around you.
Looking for the good in any situation helped the Sampsons keep their family close and strong. Coming up next, we head to the kitchen for some great Alfredo. Stay with us. Welcome back to Be Well. Many people think that to eat healthy, you must give up the good taste. We'll prove that that's just not true. Let's head into the kitchen with Rachel Walker and her recipe for a healthy Alfredo. So what recipe did you bring with you today to talk to us about?
So this is one of our family favorites, since we've achieved our health goals and wanted, stay healthy and fit. We had to adjust our eating a little bit. And so I adjusted this recipe because we've always loved Alfredo. Oh, yeah. And I know when you think of Alfredo, it's fattening and calories. And so I found something that would work really well. So
awesome.
Do you want me to demonstrate how to do that now?
Let's get started.
So first of all, I like to keep things super simple. So what I do, I usually do it in my crock pot. So I'm planning ahead of time. You just gotta know you're making it that day, and put it in. So I'll throw some chicken in. So we've got a few even just frozen chicken breasts. Okay. And I like to use this Good Seasons Italian dressing. It's so easy and it makes it so yummy. So I just sprinkle it on top. Awesome. And I just do a drizzle of olive oil like this. I don't know what the oil does, but it just makes it a little more tender. I love it. And then I usually do about a half cup of chicken broth. Okay. And I love, this is one thing I've started using, is this Better Than Bouillon chicken base. Oh, awesome. And usually, and so I'll boil the water and mix it in before I pour it in so it mixes a little better. Okay. And I usually use about a half cup, but we'll be using some later. So I'll just, I made a little extra for this right now. So I drizzle a little bit on top and I throw this on. That's how easy that is to prep. So then I let that sit like 4 to 6 hours on high, or just your basic chicken cooking. Gotcha. Okay. Or 60 hours on low. Okay. And then once it's done, I have some chicken here that I've pulled out. So this is just, I've shredded it. Okay. And it's seasoned and yummy. So I pull it out of the crock pot and just shred it. Okay. And then what I do is I mix the sauce. Oh, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay. So all I do is I take some of the broth that's been cooking in here. Okay. And I use it to blend up. So what I'll do, I have low-fat cottage cheese, and I use that for my cream base. So I'm just going to do all of it today. It's nice and creamy. I kind of eyeball. I usually do about 2 to 3 cups, depending on how much I'm wanting to make. Okay. Then I'll usually do a couple tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. Ooh, all the cheese. And then I sometimes will throw in a little bit of a light cream cheese. Okay. This is when I kind of found this Greek one. Oh, I've never heard of Greek cream cheese. That has 4 times more protein, which is great because I'm always trying to add a little more protein into our diet because we found we weren't having quite as much as we needed. Then I'll just throw a little bit of broth in that was from there so that it helps it to blend a little better. And that's, then I add a little bit of garlic powder. Okay. And a little bit of pepper. And that's how easy the sauce is. That's so easy. I love how the chicken's been cooking all day while you're like out and about and at so it really doesn't take very long. Okay. And then you want to blend that up for me? I'm not sure how that works. So yeah, look at that. Can you just see it? Perfect. Wait just a second longer. Okay, that looks great. All blended up and incorporated. Yeah, so really it just takes, maybe 30 seconds or something in there. Cool. And then all I do is I just mix it with my chicken. And looks like we can do a little bit more. So creamy and then a lot of times I'll put it back in the crock pot with the chicken, but since we have that going, and that way you can heat it longer for just an extra 30 minutes or something until dinner's ready. So it's just sitting there and ready to go. Awesome. Then you just mix that and it's ready to go. It's so delicious. That looks so good. So then what we like to do as well is use a spaghetti squash for our pasta instead of noodles. Oh, genius. Instead of noodles. So how I usually do this, and I usually do actually have some whole wheat pasta there for my kids. Okay. Because they don't all love this. They like the whole wheat pasta a little better. So that's still a healthy option, but we like to add as many veggies as we can. Perfect. I'll just put a few holes in it like this. Okay. And I'll kind of do a couple on the sides and then a couple on the top. Kind of like a baked potato. Mm-hmm. Then I'll flip it over and do the same on the other side. Okay. And then I'll just make sure that it's vented well. Great. Or it can explode. I've had some friends have that. So then I just throw it in and do like 6 minutes per side. Really? Oh, that's quick. Okay. And then you just, depending on the size, you can maybe need it a little more. So once I've microwaved it, 6 minutes per side, then I'll just check it and make sure it's soft to go in. That's easy to enter. And so that's all. You've just cut off the ends. Yeah, so this is one I've already done this for. So once it is out of the microwave, you'll just slice it, and I usually cut off the ends. Perfect. And then I just fork out the seeds. So you get rid of that little seed portion, right? Okay. So this just meat in here is what kind of becomes your pasta. Yep, yep. It's like already and it forks out up. So easy. Awesome. So you just fork it out, and look at that. It's already like pasta. Perfect. So really, that is super easy too. So while you're mixing the sauce, you can just throw that in the microwave. And I know you brought some for us to try, which I'm so excited to give it a try. So let me just grab those for us. So this is kind of how you plate it and present it, right? Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to take a bite because, first of all, it smells so good, that sauce that you did. So yummy. So there we go. See, just out of this half, I've got a whole bunch. That's a lot. That you can eat out. Do you find that you have 5 kids, right? I do have 5 kids. So do you usually like one squash can
feed your whole family?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because several of them won't take the squash.
Rachel, it's just really
yeah,
good.
do you like it? It's usually a favorite when I go to, and it's great for fall because it can be warm and filling, just kind of that, but it also it's healthy.
I love it.
So you don't feel yucky after you eat it.
I've never cooked with spaghetti squash, so I'm excited to do that with my family too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, Rachel, so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
That's great. I know it's hard to know that a recipe is really tasty from a TV program, but let me tell you, even our crew of guys really like the Alfredo squash. Thumbs up. Next on Be Well Spanish Fork, we'll meet with 2 social media gals and see how they keep their family ties strong. Welcome back. We want you to meet 2 wonderful ladies that have made it big in the social media world. Katie Oldham of the Beauty Bureau and Jenna Rammel with Jenna's Kitchen. Our discussion took us several places, but let's start with a 30-day challenge called Lean Into Love. So September, you did a Lean Into Love challenge with your followers. Can you tell me about, like, how did you think of doing that, or what kind of brought that about?
Yeah, so I moved this summer from California, and it was just a huge uprooting of our family, and I felt really disconnected from myself, from my regular schedule, my regular life. Even though I was coming home, Utah's home for me, it felt like I was a different person in a different place. And even still, when you move, you're just where am I going to the store? Where am I going to the gym? Who's gonna be my babysitter? All these new things.
Normals.
Yeah, it is such a huge adjustment, and I just felt like I wasn't feeling very happy. And I knew that that was a choice that I could make myself. And so I chose to do this Lean Into Love challenge, and I wanted to create a space where women understood that it wasn't like you had to suddenly meditate for 8 hours a day and become yoga certified and eat gluten-free in order to have wellness. I really wanted to just do little things every day where women could be like, oh yeah, no, I can do that, And so they were small, simple challenges, like give a person a hug, or turn off your phone, or put your feet in the grass, or anything like that, just something to connect them to themselves and to their environment. One for me was sit around the dinner table. I feel like that's something that I've lost in being, as my business has picked up and as my kids are back in school and we have sports and all sorts of things, I've gotten really sort of bad, honestly, for lack of a better word, of making dinner for my family. And I really started to implement that in the last couple weeks. And I can see how that always makes me happy. Feeding people, having people over, things that I love about connection and food and how it brings us together. I feel like that was a huge one for me. Meditation is something that I always do, but it's always nice to realign and focus and make that a new focus for me. And I do that with my kids too. So it was nice to just have these little reminders every day of, oh yeah, I do this and I love this and I want to do it again and I want to be better at it.
What about you, Katie? What is something that you do with your children, to practice wellness, mindfulness, helping them feel connected to themselves?
I'm definitely not as good as Jenna is with this. When
You are too.
I think it was the first day of school, and she was like, well, because our kids go to the same school, she's like, I asked them this and this and this, and I was like, I would have never thought. But last year we started saying I'm an Oldham, and it's a chant that we chant in the car, and we just say, I am brave, I am kind, I help others, and I never give up. And then at the end, we wanted it to be and then it just says, most importantly, my family loves me no matter what. And that's what I want my kids to know. It doesn't matter if you aren't brave that day or if you aren't kind that day, we love you no matter what, and that the next day you can try again and be that person that you want to be, live with that intent.
Next, we talked about husbands giving support for their spouse's self-care. This is good for men and women alike. So ladies, what about men with self-care? I mean, it might not be as common to find them putting on makeup, but let's talk about that.
But the reason that I'm laughing is because my husband doesn't have to ask to take a shower. He just, it's work time, he can get up. My main responsibility is the kids. And although sometimes I'm resentful of that, but I think what Jenna was saying was, what were you saying?
Well, I was just saying that like women in general they come from a place of guilt, they come from a place of shame, they come from a place of questioning their truth and that they're worthy of taking that time for themselves. Men in general just don't. They're just like, well, I have basic needs and I will fulfill them. Like I need the shower, so I will get in the shower. I need to get to the gym, so I'll get to the gym. I need to go golfing with my buddies, so I'm going golfing with my buddies. And they're not making apologies for who they are. And women are constantly involved in this work of saying, is this right? Am I doing the right thing? And I think culturally, so much women wear this like invisible badge of honor, like I don't work out and I don't work outside of the home, somehow. And my kids are all I ever do, and go me, and really honestly go you. But I think there's this huge disconnect of coming and working through the universe in that way. I think our children really suffer, and then we continue to really pass this on to generations that we have to be so self-sacrificing in order to be good parents, and it's just not the truth.
So what are things your husbands might do to like encourage you to do those self-care practices that maybe women neglect?
Yeah, my husband is so good about like, he totally takes boys' night, and I make that a point because he needs a release too, to like go have fun and not be like bogged down by the honey-do list that I always have for him when he gets home. But he's very good about allowing me that. But the first step to that is communicating with them, because he cannot read my mind. He can't assume that I need a girls' night or that I need 10 minutes to get ready, and he just needs to take care of the kids for 10 minutes. And although like we could get in a practice, like me just saying to him, hey babe, can you do the dishes? Or can you take this task off of my hands? Or can you watch the kids while I run up and put makeup on, or whatever you want to do, take a bath, whatever fills your cup. All it takes is communication. Really, don't you think?
Yeah. And I as you were talking, I was thinking how frustrating it can be for women that they have to ask. But I think at just this point, having been married 12 years, I just have decided like that is actually just what he needs. Like he doesn't see what needs to happen, and that's okay. Just yesterday, it was Sunday, and I was like, I'm going to the guest room far away where like the kids, I'm not telling them where I am, and I'm taking 2 hours to myself. And he was like, okay, and I think you just have to say out loud what it is that you need. And we have such a fear of that for some reason.
Spouses want to help each other. They want each other to be happy. So yeah, just communication is key when it comes to that.
And I know a big thing, like for my husband, is our time management, like allowing him time, like his gym time is kind of his self-care time.
Yeah.
So we have little kids, so we have to divide and conquer. So it's like you go at this hour in the morning and I'll go at this hour in the morning. So kind of that give and take, I think, is important too.
Yeah.
In relationships, right?
Absolutely.
Having a simple plan to keep our family or loved ones close does wonders for our personal well-being. And just understanding that everyone is different in how we deal with emotional issues gives us more patience and tolerance. We're not done yet. Stay with us for more great ideas to help you be well Spanish Fork. Welcome back to Be Well Spanish Fork. There are so many ways that we can work on improving our health and wellness, so we created what we call Video Vitamins. Personal coach Amy Gibby offers us several ways to relax and just let go.
Hi, this is Amy, and I have a tip for you. This is one of my favorite things that I do with my kids. Sometimes we'll be working in the kitchen getting dinner ready or doing chores, and the tension kind of gets a little high. One of my favorite things to do with my kids is to have a dance party. We'll crank up some music and just start dancing, giggling, just having so much fun. So I encourage you to do that with your kids. Have a dance party. Be well, Spanish Fork.
By following the lessons taught in our Video Vitamins, you can make big changes in your world. Take them early and often. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Be Well. Remember, you're not alone in this journey to better health and happiness. If you need a lift up, ask someone for a boost. If you see someone that is struggling, offer a hand. We all need the help. Be sure to share this program with your friends. Until next time, be well, Spanish Fork.